A warm welcome, dear students. So today we are doing subject science topic the living world. So in the previous slide, children, we studied about all the characteristics of living creature. Yes, you remember that Mrs. Gren I was teaching. So the characteristics of living organisms were movement, respiration, excretion, nutrition, yes, response to stimuli, yes. And now today we will be studying on the cellular structure. Yes, children. Now all the living things are made of small units. They are called as the cells. The small units are called as cells, and all the actions and process in the bodies of living things are brought about with the help of these microscopic cells. Unicellular organism, uni means children one. Yes, so unicellular organism, it is an organism made of only one cell. And these organisms are very small and they need to be seen only with a microscope. So all the actions and process in the bodies of living things are brought with the help of these microscopic cells. The common name for the unicellular organisms are, you can call it as microscopic organisms, you can say microorganisms, yes, or they are really small living things. The examples of unicellular organisms are amoeba, bacteria, unicellular fungi, and unicellular yeast. These are the examples of unicellular organisms. As I said, children, uni means single. So all the living things or the living things which are made up of single cell. Yes, they are called as unicellular organisms. Now let us study about multicellular organisms. So as the name says multi means many. Yes, means two or more. So multicellular organisms means an organism that is made up of two or more cells. Yes, the many cells. The amoeba and some other microorganisms are unicellular. Yes, I just told you in the previous slide. Whereas man, cow, mouse, cockroach, elephants, banyan tree, onion plant. Yes, these are all the examples of multicellular. As I said, multicellular means it is many celled organisms. Yes, examples are mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, and many others. Now next is, what are the examples? Examples are, they are humans, cats, dogs, insects, birds, flowers, molds, and trees. These are the examples of multicellular organisms. So all the characteristics of living things are seen in every cell of a living thing, whether it is unicellular or multicellular. Now cellular structure, it is the main characteristics of living things. Even though the number of cells may vary. Yes, children. So this cellular structure, this is the main characteristics of living things. So even though the numbers of cells may vary, that means they may be either unicellular organisms or they may be multicellular organisms. Yes, in the slide I am sharing, this is cat, bird, dog, or flower. Yes, so these are all the examples of multicellular organisms. Now children, I said bacteria. Yes, A bacteria, this is an example of unicellular microorganisms. They are lacking organelles and an organized nucleus. Okay, so all the unicellular organisms, they will not have nucleus. What is the meaning of lacking? They lack. Lack means they do not have. Okay, so they do not have what? Organelles and an organized nucleus. And some may cause disease. See, this is how the structure looks like. Yes, there will be cytoplasm. In the center, there is nucleus. Then there is plasma membrane, nucleopore. So all these things, they all together form a cell structure. Now let us differentiate between the unicellular and multicellular organisms. So what I said, children, unicellular organisms means organisms that only have a single cell. Yes, and organisms consist of many cells are called as multicellular organisms. The examples for unicellular organisms are amoeba, bacteria and paramecium. Yes, so these are all the examples of single cell, that is unicellular organisms. Now organisms with many cells are called as multicellular organisms like plants and animals. Yes, so this is clear, the difference between unicellular organisms and multicellular. Yes, so this distinguish can come. Yes, this differentiate, please study. Now children, as we are studying about living things and non-living things, so let me explain you what are living things. Living things we all know. Yes, plants, animals, protist, fungus, bacteria, as we were talking. Yes, bacteria, amoeba, they are all unicellular. So just also want to explain you that all these living things are called as biotic. Yes, so all these living things are called as biotic. Plants, animals, bacteria, fungus, and all the non-living things are called as abiotic. Yes, abiotic means non-living things. So example are water, soil, air, light and minerals. Yes, so you know the difference between biotic and abiotic. All the living things are included under biotic, and all the non-living things, water, soil, earth, minerals, light, they all are included under abiotic. Yes. Now children, in living things, it is again divided into useful and harmful. Yes, so some living things are useful, we know. Yes, for example, if for the case of plants, so we eat vegetarians, we eat all the vegetables and fruits. So these are all useful, right? So plants that are used for household as well as industrial purposes. For example, fenugreek. Yes, fenugreek is methi. Then potato or okra, bhindi. Yes, in fruits I can say apple, banana. And also there are many medicines, asparagus, aloe vera, tulsi. Yes, though these plants, they are used for fruits, vegetables and medicinal purposes. Now for animals are also useful to us, isn't it children? Dogs, cats, cows, buffalo are all kept for domestic uses. Also fish, sheep are used as food, while animals like horses, oxen, camel, they are useful in various occupation. Yes children, and not to forget earthworm. Earthworm is very useful in agriculture. So clear? So in living things there are useful things also. There is useful living things and also harmful living things. Yes, so all the plants, animals, fruits, medicinal plants, they are all useful living things. And in the case of animals, there are domestic animals, there are horses, oxen, camels, and earthworm. These are useful in agriculture. Now children, which are harmful living things? See, you can see all these insects. So same, we also, as I told you about useful living things, there are also harmful living things. So some animals and plants around us are harmful to man. For example, mosquitoes and flies, they spread diseases. Cockroaches, mice, rats, they destroy our food. Yes, then lice and ticks, they also spread diseases. Then the bites of some poisonous lizards, spiders, snakes and scorpions, they even cause death. So if the wild animals, wild elephants, yes, they enter human settlements, what will happen? They will cause a lot of destruction. Right? So all these are harmful animals. Then also children, we have harmful plants also. Yes, there are poisonous plants. Like for example, the datura plant. Datura plant is poisonous. And they are uncontrolled growth of fungi and algae in water. It pollutes the drinking water and causes the diseases. Yes, so this was all about the harmful living things. Now children, what are wild animals? Yes, we all know wild animals that hunt other animals for food. They are called predators. For example, tigers, lions, wolves, leopards, yes, and etc. all these. Now sometimes due to deforestation, such animals, they enter human settlements in search of food and may kill domestic animals or people. Yes, so these are all the wild animals and they are harmful, correct? So if these animals, they enter a human settlement, so what will happen? They cause lot of destruction. Yes, deforestation, and they will in search of food. They come in the human settlements in search of food and thus causing destruction, and they kill domestic animals or people. Yes children, so please do watch the National Geographic channel and Discovery channel. Yes, in that channel also there is lot of information of all the animals and plants. Yes. Children, many plants and animals in nature, they satisfy our needs. Yes, as I just explained you the useful plants and animals and the harmful plants and animals. So many plants and animals in nature, they satisfy our needs. The use of such plants and animals, they should be restricted only to our needs. Yes, but we should not unnecessarily pluck the leaves of flowers and fruits unnecessarily. Right, so we are harming the nature. So if we need for fruits, vegetables, we are plucking for our needs, it is okay. But do not pluck, please, unnecessarily. Yes, do not waste them. And same is the case with animals. So animals should not be hunted. They should not be teased just for fun. Yes. So it is our responsibility and duty of all of us to protect plants and animals. Yes, children. So today we have studied, I hope the concept is clear. We studied about the living things. Under the living things, I explained you what is biotech, yes. Then the useful Please revise all the useful plants and useful animals. Yes, then there are also harmful plants and harmful animals. Yes, so we have useful plants, then we have harmful plants. We have useful animals and we have harmful animals. Yes, children? I'll end the class now. Thank you, students. Have a great day.